I'm Alex McBratney from the University of Sydney, which is in Sydney in New South Wales, Australia. The University of Sydney is the oldest university in Australia. I'm from the Faculty of Agriculture, Food and Natural Resources. So there we're looking at Australian agriculture, food production and management of the environment together as a whole. I'm really a soil scientist, but over the last 15 years, have done a lot of work on precision agriculture, particularly crop management on farms in Australia. So we've done a lot of work, I think, which has brought some practical benefit to Australian farmers. But we see that work as being a special case of something much bigger, which is the application of information technology to agriculture and food production systems. Yes, I guess a moment ago I used the term e-agriculture, which really is, as you say, the application of information technology and information science to agriculture and the food production system. I see this as a very important focus. I guess to the general population, to the general public, for 20 years or more, they have been hearing about the advances with biotechnology, gene manipulation, and how that can affect the food production systems. Some people say positively. I guess what we're looking at here is something that people generally are less aware of, is that information technology applied to food production systems can be equally or even more beneficial in that it can produce clean, green food with less environmental impact. They can be more assured about how food is produced, and potentially they can let the producers know what they think about what is being produced. Well, there are some classic barriers to adoption, obviously, but I guess to be brief, the farmers need the technology to be robust in the sense that it has to be able to work under field conditions and work 24 hours a day in dusty, warm conditions. So if any technology has to be able to do that. And I think the other one, besides robustness, is they have to be able to see that they're going to get a return on their investment within a reasonable time period, and our empirical evidence says this looks like 3 years or something like that. 10 years is too long a time frame. It's 3 years, I think, is what they're looking for. What I would say is that in Australia, the adoption of several technologies which constitute precision agriculture, tracking systems, so GPS guidance on the farm for tillage and harvest operations. There is in Australia we have about 15,000 very large farms which produce crops. And on 70% of those, they're using this high-tech vehicle guidance system. And on about 50% of these, they're using some kind of variable rate technology for the application of fertilizers and herbicides. So the uptake of technologies which work and which make a positive impact by reducing the inputs and optimizing the outputs are well taken up by farmers. In Australia, no.
No.
In Australia, it's simply about Australia is just looking at the world market and looking for anything that makes the production of grain, particularly grain and cotton crops, more efficient. So anything that makes the whole production process more efficient. Now, the interesting thing with this application of e-technology is that often the way it's made more efficient is by applying less inputs, not more inputs. And because you're applying less inputs of fertilizers and herbicides and getting the same yields or higher yields, the environmental impact is also lessened. So there is what we call a win-win situation. By optimizing, using information technology, we can increase farmers' profits, but also reduce environmental impact. And this is why sometimes we talk about, with information technology applied to agriculture, we talk about the weightless economy. In other words, we can improve profitability, production efficiencies, reduce environmental impacts without any more material being used in the system. It's only information that's being added to the system. I do think that all of these technologies, when better linked together, so when we can link the technologies that the farmers use to the processor, to the supermarket, to the consumer, back to the farmer and to government, when all of these information flows about how food is being produced, processed, used, when all of that information can flow around the system, then I think we will have much more efficient systems, much less waste, and everybody will be happier.